I was thinking about what to do with all this caffeine while the other video is loading, and it's good video. It's taking a long time to load. A lot of Michael's hard work in this thing, y'all. Fascinating hard work by Michael that will load. So I decided to continue on with the grid. That was one thing I left out, and I'm glad I did, because there's a lot more to it. And there are dates before, after the 17th, there are dates to look at, because we have to go back to the grid, right? And everything that's coming up this month, I will highlight. Now, like Christian Bale's birthday progression, because he played Trump. So just any little thing I could think to progress through to see if they land on Michael's solar eclipse days. And I came across something that's pretty fascinating. And so let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Do y'all remember Trump and I's combined number? So it's 163464. And of course, my first wife number was 62. And Trump's number has a 63 and a 64 in it. He won WON 63, the candy, the 88 for the 64. Whoever my third wife's going to be, or is that just me as the bride of Christ? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Point is, it's very interesting. And Michael knows a lot more about how all this stuff pertains to my personal life, right? So hang on just a second. So times my number. I don't know what happened. Try it again. So Trump and I's combined number, that person that I know who came to that many days old on 3/11, 33 days later, I come to that many days old. And then 33 days after that is that total lunar eclipse. So if we chart just when that began, which is when she turned that many days old, that's March 11th. And that's going to hit on April 17th. That's the next 37 progression. Well, if you keep rolling that up, you'll get 74 days, you get May 24th, and then you get 111 days. It lands on June 30th. Now, what's the deal with June 30th? Y'all remember one of the ciphers I use is the event taking place 42 days before a full moon. Now, the reason that is because Jesus rose on the third day and then ascended 40 days later into heaven. So that's a total of 42 complete days. Okay. And so what if Trump goes down 42 days before a full moon? Because he doesn't rise out of the abyss or out of the bottomless pit. He ascends, and Jesus ascended. It's just a cipher. It's just one way to look at it. And so that June 30th date hits that 42 days. It does hit the 42 days before the 88, the August 11th full moon, because that's a very fascinating full moon, because Sirius also rises on that day. The dog days of summer are officially over, and Sirius is seen again in the night sky rising. And the same time you have that full moon, and it's both on August 11th or 88, 8 times 11. So that's an interesting cipher for us to continue to look at. And it hits, the first progression of 37 from her March 11th day when she turned that many days old, which is Trump and I's combined number. It hits on April 17th. So we're just keeping an eye out, and I'm going to keep loading things now. All right, I just titled it Michael's Amazing Research Tells Us Plenty. I had some other things up front, you know, but you're going to love it when we get to, and I'll have down here in the description how you can just click straight to his research. And so I'll have the time built in as it's loading, but my thumbnail, unless a better one comes up, I doubt one will. I got Trump International, where he'll be playing golf on Sunday, which is pretty much the theme of that video, because he could go down on a golf course. So my next cipher was the amount of days when I turned that many days in Trump and I's combined number. When I turned 22196 days old. And so I went ahead and threw that cipher in there, you know, on 4/13 that began, and 111 days, and the third 37 progression, it lands on text to Trump 88022. You have an 802 in the heart of that text to Trump number, 802, which was when I sat her down and asked for a divorce. So August 2nd, big day, right? That was when I began my process of 86 and the 88. So, and my divorce date is also in here. We're going to take a look at that too. So that's when we're also going to load into the cipher. And now the progression of when I turned 22196 days, that next progression, believe it or not, falls on when my second wife first got married to her first husband on May 20th. And 2 progressions later is when I sat her down and asked for a divorce, which was the ending of her second marriage. So that's a fascinating cipher that we're on there. I started going back 37 days, and it ciphers to 1117, the deadly eye wound, if you include both dates in your calculation. So if you go, that's a 259 amount of days. It is the 7th progression on August 2nd. I'm going to be looking hard at August 2nd, y'all. Good grief. Going to be looking hard at that day. Wow, I'm starting to see all kind of numbers down here, like my cell phone number, the 2237, the 817. Michael knows the 817 is the first 3 digits of me and a combined number of somebody that I share with him a lot of stuff about. But so the deadly eye wound, the last deadly eye wound date should be a cipher, right? And why not? And so it hits on, if you include the end date, it does hit on that August 2nd date, as it also hits on my April 13th date. Yeah. So when I turned 22196 days old, that was the 3rd progression. Excuse me, the 4th progression through. And, you know, you keep going, it lands on when, you know, second wife got married for the first time. 185. So that's a cipher that we need to explore, the 1117 cipher in itself. And you can keep it separate by not adding or not counting the days. So it'll be one day after all the other ciphers we're talking about. Like it would have landed on March 8th, or then it will land on April 14th, which we just passed. And the next one would be May 21st. And then June 27th. Then August 3rd. It's the only date when I totaled a car as a teenager. What my fault? Car went hydroplaning, had bald tires on the interstate. Dad apologized. All good. But that's a interesting cipher to look at, or to keep track of, because the next one is, isn't it 333 days? Hang on. And an interesting date that cipher does fall on is when JFK went down, November 22nd. So that's a groovy cipher. The deadly eye wound from 2020 wound date 11:17 from Zechariah 11:17, which is the right eye wound Bible verse. That's specific to the right eye. It will cycle around, not including both dates. It does cycle around to November 22nd. If you do include both dates, which we like the way those land, because it lands on that May 20th, August 2nd, then it lands on November 21st, which is a gateway portal date. Remember the gateway portal that we found through the transfer portal begins and ends on October 28th through November 21st, and then March 1st through March 25th. If you're new to the channel, you don't understand what we're talking about, that's okay. There's videos way back there. Just ask, and I will put it to you in the comment of where you ask, of what the transfer portal is and all that kind of stuff. All right, so we're going to do a little bit. So what I do is I go through my video channel I want y'all to subscribe to, called Telling Truth 3, and I find where Michael's prep began, where Michael's work began. I do invite you to watch the whole video though, because it's hang on just a second. So it's right there, that 25:33 mark, or 25:36, I think it was. So see, yeah, 25:36. It times it out right about right there. That way I can just click on that and you can go straight to his prep if you ever want to go back to it or anything like that. All right, man. That was good. That was good video right there, man. Good video. Good video is now up and loading. Sports fans. Good video. Good video. So yesterday was when they went 88 miles per hour. So from Back to the Future, which began, they went 88 miles per hour on October 26th, 1985. So we passed it, nothing happened. So the next one for that would be June 28th. What? No, goofball. May 22nd. Now, when Trump was born, if we run all of those 37 progressions, the next one's April 29th, does end up taking place on December 7th. I mean, progresses through to December 7th, the beginning of World War II for the USA. And it also hits 9/23 if you include both dates. So I think I already told you all this on an email because I read it, on a prep that I'd sent to Michael, that Donald Trump, his birthday, and Billie Eilish, her birthday, she sang the theme song for No Time to Die. They both are on the exact same cipher, her birthday to Trump's birthday. Exact same cipher. That's pretty fascinating. I can't remember why I was so high on May 7th, but remember I was, because that person commented, like, because there was a title of one of my videos where I said I'm going to ride May 7th all the way through, right? And where is that? That's what it was. It's right in here. 63 views, 64 views, which is funny. 63, second wife progression, 64, my third wife progression. Remember, Trump is 163, 464. Well, is that telling us something? I don't know. But remember, I was big on May 7th. Well, my second wife, I was her 88. Notice the title, May 7th, Back to the Future. So I guess that's a Back to the Future cipher. When Back to the Future was released, maybe that hits on May 7th, because my second wife, her birthday, which is at the Gateway Arch, October 28th, which is also Bill Gates' birthday, Gateway Arch, October 28th. So the Gateway Arch is real, because the St. Louis Gateway Arch did open on Bill Gates' birthday. Bill Gates' birthday, October 28th. St. Louis Gateway Arch, which was established opened October 28th. So, you know, that's the Gateway Arch that we only discovered ourselves, was the opening of the Gateway Arch transfer portal. Through the transfer portal, we discovered that. It was a fascinating find that the Lord allowed us to understand, that there is a transfer portal of time that showed us a Gateway Arch on both sides, March 1st to March 25th, and October 28th to November 21st. It's a 25-day Gateway Arch time period. And it was only through numbers that I discovered it, you know, through that whole fascination with numbers and how they speak a language. 301st day of the year over to March 1st, which is, you know, 301, you know, March, third month, 01, the first day, all the way through to March 25th, which is also 325. And it ends at the 325th day of the year, which is November 21st. So it goes through both directions. Those two anomalies work only through those 25 days on both sides, then it stops. So I said, it's like it's a Gateway Arch. And then we later discovered Bill Gates' name has a birthday on that day. And that was through discovering it through AWTR Productions videos. And I was like, well, that's second wife's birthday, and the opening of the Gateway Arch and Bill Gates' name. So anyway, it was just fascinating to catch all that. So second wife, her birthday of October 28th, 1973 does land us on that May 7th, which it's a big day. That is on a Saturday, and that is UFC 274. So 74, again, the second progression of 37. So that's big. It's real big. We love that day. Love, 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 love that day. Now, nothing to do with any time progressions, but since we're charting dates, Trump turns 911 months old and Israel turns 888 months old on May 14th. So I'm going to stick that in our little calendar date as we're tracking dates. It's pretty fascinating. That's also when I got hit in my right eye progression by an airplane. So May 14th, man, that's a big day because on the third day is a total lunar eclipse. So does that, when he is his ascending out of the bottomless pit, actually also when he rises, unlike Jesus, who rose and then ascended 40 days later? You know, do they not follow that time path? I put it in a funky color just because it's not part of anything else we're doing. But we are tracking dates to its core on this page because it's too much to keep track of. You know, I don't have to go here and there and there. You know, it's something we can all just look at. Got a comment here from E. And gotta love this comment. Have you looked into theosophy at all? They're going to say the fallen angels are ascended masters, in my opinion. Well, absolutely. The ghost in the machine are nothing more than demons or fallen angels in the computer. Through Ephesians 16, that you know that you're flesh and blood, that you don't have flesh and blood enemies, that you're true enemies. You know, the flesh and blood mystery Babylonians that run this earth are only following their orders of their ascended masters, which are, of course, the fallen angels or the ghost in the machine. So, yeah, we learned about theosophy through the Know Your Enemy series. Know Your Enemy full documentary. Know Your Enemy full documentary. They're not going to help us. So which is
and this fragile mental,
what began the process of the Lord pulling me out of astrology and the Catholic Church and all that kind of stuff. So, and it showed us theosophy. It started getting into Alice A. Bailey and the United Nations and just all other kind of, there's Bohemian Grove stuff going on. So to really get into the United Nations, where is Alice A. Bailey and all that stuff? Somewhere around in here. But it did teach us. There it is. So there's your theosophy stuff. There's your Alice A. Bailey and all that.
Remarried a 32nd degree Freemason. This is the spirituality at the core of the United Nations.
So yeah, theosophy. Alice A. Bailey and that other lady before her, what was her name? Oh, God, it's on the tip of my tongue. Let me pause and it'll pop in. Helena Blavatsky. Yeah, the Lord popped it in my name finally. So somewhere in there is Helena Blavatsky. So this Know Your Enemy parts 1 through 77 I watched on DVD as a friend sort of told me about it. And then from there, hey, it's 148, y'all. And from there, it just sort of, with the 808. Yeah, believe it or not, stepdaughter was born at 808. The one that's got the 138 and the 88 and the 86 all on her number, born at 808. I think it was AM, might have been PM. But yeah, fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Well, me through the progressions lands on April 17th, which is a big day that Michael brought us to. So I'm going to be 22200 days old on April 17th. And 22200 divided by 37, it's a perfect 600. And That lands on 417. That's freaky. So anyway, there we have it. I don't know, man. What else lands on April 17? Mayday's March 17th date go up 37 days. Oh yeah. Okay. Because up 33 days landed on the 13th. So yeah. And then Trump and I's combined number. Yeah. Okay. So that's one. When she hit that amount of days old. What's another that lands on April 17th? Michael had some for us. That's why it's such a big day for us. Where's Michael's cipher at? Was it the release date of The Dark Knight Rises or something like that? Do I not have that up here? We got No Time to Die. I Am the Chosen One. Dark Knight's already up there. I think Dark Knight Rises is loaded. Let me see. Yeah, the release of Dark Knight Rises. The next one is May 18th. And Dark Knight's loaded up there too. What was it? What all connects to the 17th? According to Michael, I can't. I have to apologize to Michael. I can't remember why he liked that date so much. It wasn't because of my birthday. It was something to do with like, I'll double check real quick. No, it wasn't Dark Knight, or it was an eclipse. I know what it was. Hang on. No, it was not the 7-11 eclipse. What was it about the 7-11 eclipse I wanted to look at? Because 7's got Eve in it. 11's got Eve in it. In simple gematria. Or when you look at, when you look at the word 7 or you look at the word 11, they have the word Eve in them. And that made me want to look at something. Is the 7-11 eclipse not in our spreadsheet? Yeah, 7-11, 2010, solar eclipse and Dark Knight Rises. Next one is May. Michael, I can't remember what it is that lands on April 17th. So you'll have to help me out, my friend. All right. Well, I don't have it documented. It's only 2 personal things up here. And I can't remember why Michael liked that date. Let me text him and see if he's up. All right. So there's the October 2nd date of 1988 when Donnie Darko died. So that's a cipher. I guess I didn't have that loaded up there, nor was it in my links that I, made or created to load onto the spreadsheet. So the next one will be May 21st. So that is already ciphered up. Yeah, it's a progression of the last 11/17 date. And that's really about it. And if you include both dates from the Donnie Darko date, as bookends, it does land on that 802, which is in the heart of text to Trump. 88,022. There's an 802 in the middle of that, of course. And August 2nd, the divorce date we've been talking about when I decided on total divorce. So that's if you include both dates, which also does, of course, then if you include both dates, it will land on her May 20th. So maybe I should include that. May 20th. Really know how to write that. Well, I'm just gonna go ahead on and say May 20th minus a day, and just include it on the next date we're looking for. There we go. So now we're going to key in October 2nd, 2022, and we're going to start going backwards as a cipher date. So when's the next one? It's May 7th. That's why we like May 7th. It's on that progression. Dead on it, right on it. Now, Earl's, the day Earl died, it lands on it, the anniversary of that, which is, you know, we never did figure out what Trump's 58s are about. So now you swap them over, include both dates, you get 148. So May 7th and May 8th are really big. Yeah. Yep. Those are big. Went ahead and wrote them out like that. May 7th is what it lands on. May 8th, if you back it up a day. Now that, of course, is going in a different direction right now, where all these others are dates before the dates we're looking at. That is a future date, October 2nd, 2022, where we're backing up through the cipher. Okay. So that fateful day when the twin Trumps fell down does go to May 12th. We back it up a day, May 11th. And I love that day, May 11th, because at my mom's funeral memorial, I walked outside on May 11th, and there was the church parking lot, which was where it's now grass, but it's where I first lived from 1 to 3 years old, you know, when they took me home from the hospital, first 3 years, and the address was 404 for the book of Revelation. So, you know, and that cipher does land on 9/11, that May 11th. That's if you include both dates. And that cipher is part of the progression of April 5th, which is, if you remember, my stepdaughter and I, she's got the 138, the 88, the 86. We are 13405 days old. So April 5th, remember, was a big day I was looking at. Well, this 9/11 cipher fits into that. And you also see the number 34 there, or 34 years. So that's a big cipher for me, the 9/11 cipher, because of the way it does hit on May 11th. May 11th, May 12th. May 12th is big too, the 512. That's my third wife's, the second wife's third progression. 8 times 8 times 8, or 88, 8, you know, the 888, 8 times 8 times 8 equals the 512, which, you know, so keep an eye on the 9/11 cipher. That's big. No Time to Die release date lands on, let's just go and key it in, May 18th. Since the other date is passed. So May 18th or May 17th. Those are big. The whole thing with May 18th, May 17th, those are my marriage numbers, 3 digits out. First wife, 62848. Remember, she had Obama's birthday, 1964, though. Obama was born my year and her day. And times me, my number, So 517, second progression when I married Candy, 518. So, you know, that's a big, you know, the 517 to 518 is something that it does fall in line with No Time to Die. So, you know, keep an eye on it. That's when he said. All right, so when Trump said, "I am the chosen one," that'll hit 999 days. Trump said, "I am the chosen one" on 8/21/2019. If you include both dates, it'll be 5/15. So in between Israel's anniversary and the total lunar eclipse, which would then be on a Sunday. But Monday, May 16th, is a total lunar eclipse, 999 days from when he said, "I am the chosen one." So that's a big one. I put both dates in there, but that's a fascinating cipher also. So Earl's passing on 58, 58 bedrooms at Mar-a-Lago, which represents sleeping or being asleep or being dead, because when you're dead, you're asleep, and 58 stories at Trump Tower. Earl died on May 8th. Now, it's 1978, which is another number for me, for the church, just like 738 is. Acts 738, the church that was on Mount Sinai receiving the 10 Commandments. Acts 738. Another coding for the church is 1978 because of Revelation 19 verses 7-8 talks about the bride of Christ, the wedding feast of the Lamb and all that. So, and he died on that day, Earl did, which I told y'all numerically began the process that the Lord showed me through to my second divorce, all the way to Trump or through the whole salvational process. So that's a cipher. The day Earl died, we're going to keep that cipher too, April 25th or 24th, if you include both dates. All right, so this will be the last cipher that I load, and the last one this one's about. And I finally went back and was listening to this while I was doing other stuff. So I finally figured out, going back and listening to that, that what you got to do is, if 2022 is 1988, when they hit 88 miles per hour is 1985. So 85 to 88, well, there's a 3-year difference. So take away 3 years from 2022, you're at 2019. So they went 88 miles per hour also then on that time frame, October 26, 2019. I know. The next cipher date that it lands on is May 8th, Earl's Day. So that's one heck of, and then the next progression of that is Trump's birthday, the super full moon. Now you can back it up a day for, again, the May 7th. But that's what that video was about. I never had a cipher on it, or I never had it loaded. Now it's loaded. So we've got that cipher done too. So now we're all caught up. So the May 7th, May 8th, they crisscross. The October 2nd, 2022, going backwards cipher lands on May 7th, May 8th. And when they went 88 miles per hour in 1985, which is 3 years before 1988, and if 2022 is the same as 1988, then 3 years before that, it's 2019. So let's do October 26, 2019. And that also lands on May 8th, May 7th. If you go back a day, or -1. So those two crisscross. May 8th, May 7th, those would be that's a Saturday and a Sunday of the next UFC weekend, or the next UFC pay-per-view weekend. we're going to definitely have to take a look at those. But right now, the only ones highlighted are the ones in green because that's this month. And that's where we're at. Any more ciphers that Michael can throw at me, I will definitely load because they would bounce off of eclipses. And I've only got one eclipse, I think, loaded in here. And would love to have more, Michael, if you want me to load them, if you think they're pertinent. Obviously, they're all pertinent. But if anything, like any eclipses, Michael, that bounce off of these dates, or do I have the dates loaded and I just don't have the eclipse dates? You know what I mean? Like anything you can think of just to jot down in an email of, you know, dark night, right? You know, items I've got loaded, these transits or eclipses that bounce off these dates, I will make a column and probably add that column after the link over here, like which eclipse it is. All right. Thank you, Michael. And rest of y'all, love you very much. Along with love you too, Michael. All right. See you.